We are at the Tata Motor stand at the Auto Expo, and the Sierra is definitely the showstopper. Pratap Bose, he's the Vice President of Design at Tata Motors, and he's the guy who's behind, and your team obviously, behind the Sierra. Pratap, talk to us about the Sierra. Why the Sierra in the first place?
So, Sirish, thank you by the way, we have three iconic SUV nameplates, as you know. The Sisu Sa, which is a Sierra Sumo Safari.
Okay.
The Sierra was the first, 1991. It's also been the one which is sort of not been in the market for the longest compared to the other two. And but it's a part of India's cultural memory.
Yes.
Anyone who grew up in the 80s and 90s, the Sierra was part of their life.
And their aspiration.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, this being the 75th year of Tata Motors, I wanted to, or the team wanted to pay a tribute to the team that created the original. Now, they created the original without looking back. They had nothing to look back at.
Yes.
They only looked forward.
Yeah.
And I said, the same thing should happen now. We should look ahead, which is why we brought back the Sierra nameplate, but it's electric and it's a Sierra for this era.
And it's got the typical glass house, the glass house on the profile.
Yeah.
You got a sliding door on one side, a two-door, otherwise on this side, which harks back. This used to be called the oven, because if the aircon didn't work, you would get roasted at the back. But it's a lovely touch, and that really is the first thing that draws your eye in and connects with the old Sierra,
Absolutely.
right?
So we said, look, on the off side, it's like the two-door original. Yes. That two-door original, of course, had access issues, and we said, okay, how can we deal with that, now? So on the other side, of course, on the pavement side or on the curb side, it's a two-door. One slides, the other opens conventionally and opens up this real great entrance to the car and shows how roomy and beautiful it is.
So is the nose an evolution on your Impact 2.0 design language?
Absolutely. If you look at the nose, it's very, very close, in fact, to its little younger brother, HBX, that we are showing here. It's about being clean. It's almost having a non-automotive, but a mobile phone or an electronic appliance kind of precision. The flushness and the way the gaps are treated.
Is it feasible for production?
It can be.
Okay.
I think Land Rover, for example, really does this very, very well. I think Jerry and team on the Velar, if you look at the Velar, the way they've done the gaps and the treatment, they've come very close to this electronic object. So,
how expensive would it be to engineer a door like this?
I don't think it's only about that. I think there will be other issues around it, especially safety.
Yes.
It can be done. Cars like this have existed, but then it has to fit within obviously a price envelope for us. That's why in concept form, of course, we want to show this. But
how long were you working on this design?
This is about, when we first thought of it, would have been 6 to 8 months from today.
So that's it?
That's it.
So this is like a half-year, 8-month project?
And by the way, it's a Skunkworks project.
Okay.
It's a Skunkworks project.
At where?
At the UK studio, this one in particular. And, we said we need something to mark the 75th year. And but I didn't want it to become a retromobile. It should not be a slave to the past. Like I said, if a young kid saw it today without knowing the original, it should still be a great, appealing car. And a lot of people also have this fear that when you go electric, you go boring. I don't think this is boring by any stretch of the imagination. Being a petrol head and fuel in your veins, would love to drive a car like this.
100%.
Would love to drive a car.
But obviously, if you ever put this into production, it will have an EV powertrain. It will also have a combustion engine.
This is on the Alpha architecture. We are showing already Altros in both forms. EV and IC. The EV one will come soon. Architecture Alpha is capable of electrification.
How difficult was it for you to push this past the board, or was it like one jhatka?
Well, like I said, it's a part of the cultural memory of India. Anyone who's grown up at that era. So when we pulled off the covers, it was one of those moments where you look at something. We had this with Nexon, by the way.
Okay.
We had this moment saying that is there any reason why we are not doing a car like this? So you need to aim for that moment, where it's this unspoken moment where the XCOM looks at each other and says, there's no real reason not to do something like this,
With the interior, you went complete concept car. Why didn't you not try to keep it somewhere close to reality? Or am I missing something? Is it somewhere close to reality?
No, a lot of the IP, the door pads are very close to reality. In fact, they can be. See, we wanted to show this as a digital detox space.
Digital detox.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, for example, Sirish, today there's this mad race for the biggest screen you can fit in a car.
Yeah.
I mean, some screens I think go even beyond the confines of the car and extend into the mirrors and all that.
Yeah.
We said, look, there is going to be a time where you've had enough of this race for the biggest screen, and the opposite will happen. You will actually detox. In fact, so if you see inside, there's a little iPad, and that's it. You can bring your own device, put it on what we call the tech shelf in the interior, slots in, and you can have it if you want. If you don't want it, it's not there. It goes back in your pocket or in your bag.
Is there anything that we're looking at the car that will be there in a production car very soon?
I mean, of course, this is not even a production car.
Exactly.
But lot of this can come in. If you look, there's no silly size wheels. The dimensions are very, very real. We have not cut off the roof. It's not a coupe. So it's a very real footprint. An engine can and will fit here. If you look at the HBX that has an engine. So we haven't gone, crazy that it's unbelievable.
Now, I have to end by asking you this question. Okay, your team have been behind this. You get a lot of queries from young designers who want to make it into the automotive world. What is your message to them?
My message is work hard. My message is work hard and really please have a story to tell.
Okay.
You must have a story to tell. You can't just say, oh, I like it. And that's not enough. Someone seeing this, like you are here, others who've seen this car on Twitter and all of that, they understand the story behind it. HBX has its own little story, So please spend some time, don't start getting into sketches immediately. Spend some time in defining what you want to design.
So design is not just plain sketching, but is also a story behind it.
Absolutely. Design is storytelling. Look, Sirish, when these cars are in the showroom, I'm not there or someone else is not there to explain it to everybody. The car, what do you call it? A design language, by the way. A language is a medium of communication. That means whatever you use visually on the car should say something. I'm muscular, I'm strong, I'm sleek, I'm aerodynamic. It should have a message. And the message needs to tie with your language and your story. So you need words to tell a story. You need a story first, and then your design language fulfills that.
All the cars on your stand, what was the most difficult to design?
What's the most difficult to design?
To style.
Wow. I don't think in particular, but definitely, HBX in its super compact footprint. It's a very small car outside, but it's a great interior space. And I think Altroz is a difficult segment because it's extremely competitive, and you need something super compelling there. So no half measures will do. So in design, we really went all out to hit that sweet spot.
Pratap, compliments to you and to your team. You've done a fantastic job. To my eye, this is the showstopper, and that's also because we've grown up with the Safari. When I was in school, in Pune, there used to be a green Safari which DC had modified, and that used to be like, oh no, one day I want to drive that. And to see the nameplate come in, I'm not an emotional person, but having a Sierra come back in, I think it'll do great wonders for your brand.
I'm so glad. Thank you.
All the best, Pratap.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Subscribe to the Evo India channel and hit the bell icon to keep pace with the thrill of driving.